I'd like to take this time to address also a post on Facebook that our city posted last Friday. In this Facebook post, the city of Anaheim chose to publicly attack sworn testimony that I was asked to provide in litigation regarding the People's Homeless Task Force of Orange County versus the City of Anaheim. I'd just like to read to the public at large because it's disappointing that our Public Information Office is being used to politicize and to basically say that a council member is not being truthful. My sworn statement to the court, as requested, was that in August, the city council members were advised that Angels Baseball had proposed to buy the stadium site instead of continuing on with the current lease or lease negotiations. The city council members discussed whether to sell or continue the lease during the closed session, and in expressing strong interest in selling the property to Angels Baseball, discussed the value of the then current appraisal to determine the value of the property in a for-sale transaction. At the conclusion of the closed session, City Council asked city staff to obtain an updated appraisal reflecting a sale instead of a lease at the site. So that will be litigated next week. That was my sworn testimony to the city. The city in its post and press release said that I said the exact opposite. I'll leave it to residents to review the video posted by the city to determine if exactly what I said was the opposite in a public meeting where I did state that our city attorney was good at reminding us of the Brown Act. I didn't know that deciding to move from a lease to a sale was a violation of the Brown Act at the time. If I did, I would have said something. The city contends that no decision was made to move from a lease negotiation to a sales negotiation in August, and then in September. If that is the case, given that the council had no public discussion on direction of negotiations, where did the negotiating team get the direction to negotiate a sale? Only one proposal was presented publicly in December 2019, and that was for a sale. So if the city council allegedly never discussed a preference or direction for sale of the land, when and how did the city negotiating team decide with any confidence that the council would prefer a sale of our public land? I stand by and will repeat what I have stated in the court filing in this case if called to testify. In August 2019 in closed session, the council was informed of Angel Baseball negotiators' interest in purchasing the land outright instead of leasing the land, and the council expressed interest. This was done in closed session, and as a result, the council asked the appraiser to change the appraisal to look at, instead of 133 acres, 153 acres. Why would the council ask for a different appraisal if in fact we weren't moving in a different direction? In a peculiar and disturbing fashion, our city is arguing to the court that my declaration of a potential violation of state law is not permissible in court, as the violation, as alleged, occurred in a closed session meeting of the council. So I ask, how is a court of law to know, let alone the public, that their elected officials are acting in good faith and within the law if anything that occurs in a closed session cannot be disclosed, even in legal proceedings? How will the public know if their city council violated a public meetings law if the violation occurred in a secret, sacrosanct meeting? To this end, Mr. City Attorney, I would like to request from your office a legal memo that provides our council with an answer to the following questions. And it's 2 questions, Mr. Mayor. I know I'm just at time. Mr. City Attorney, if a duly elected member of the city council or staff member witnesses what they believe to be a violation of state laws or local laws in a closed session meeting, what is the process for reporting such a violation and to whom? Or are all discussions and or actions taken completely sealed and protected regardless of the law? It seems that in closed session, council direction is being provided on responding to potential litigation, response to agencies of notice of violations, etc., as evidenced by the legal memos, public documents submitted on behalf of the city in recent communications with the HCD regarding the Anaheim Stadium proposed sale. Yet, while required to report out if any actions were taken by the council in closed session at the end of our public meetings, as you did tonight, you have consistently stated that no action was taken by the council to report. There is nothing to report. But as we know from these legal memos and rebuttals that you've submitted that are public documents to state agencies, indeed there is a direction being provided by council, and memos are constructed on the direction of council and the direction they'd like to take, which means indeed there is something to report. I'd like to request that in any closed session wherein the council is asked for direction on an agendized closed session, and direction is determined by a majority of the council either in vote or in voice, then that direction should be reported out to the public in that meeting or at the conclusion of that public meeting. Otherwise, to say that there is nothing to report as there was no action taken is in lexical terms untruthful to the public, and the public that we serve, and the laws established to assure open and transparent government. So I'd like to again say to the public that elected us, that elected me, that my allegiance is to you, to serving the people of Anaheim honestly and transparently. That is what I came here to do on City Council, and that is what the rest of the constituents expected all of us to do. I stand by speaking the truth of what happened behind closed doors, especially when asked to in a court of law. So therefore, Mr. Attorney, I look forward to your response in the legal memo so that we can understand truly what is the methods by which we make decisions in this city. Thank you, colleagues.
Thank you, Councilman Moreno. What you're asking to agendize in a closed session, it requires a second and a third. Let me see if there is a second and a third to agendize this item, what you have requested.
Mr. Mayor, I didn't take his request as an agendizing option. He made two requests. The first one is a request from the city attorney to provide him an answer to that hypothetical, which I'd be happy to do. The second one, I'm going to continue to abide by the Brown Act in what is reportable and not reportable, unless given further direction by the council. So I'll continue to abide by the Brown Act on that one. Thank you.
Then, that said, Mr. Mayor, thank you, because you provided some clarification. If there is no objection from this council, Mr. City Attorney, I would like for you to report the closed session agenda items for the item and topic it's supposed to cover. As currently agendized, it's vague. Tonight, we discussed a topic that the public had no idea we were discussing, and it was related to a very important issue. So I would like to request, if there's no objection from this council, for you to agendize closed session items that at least signifies the topic by which we're talking about when you say potential litigation. I would like to request that. And I would like to request that you do, if there's no objection from council, that you do report out direction given to you by council, even if there's no, as you suggest, violation of the Brown Act. I think the more transparency in our reporting, the better for all of us.
So, Mr. City Attorney, you can just say that it is anything which is a litigation at this time cannot be discussed in open session.
Again, we're going to follow the Brown Act on what we report. There's actually statutory language of what we agendize and what we report. That's what I'll continue to do unless there's some direction by council to do otherwise. And
I just
with that,
asked for
this is
that.
a non-agendized item in itself.
Well, I just asked if there's no objection from the council.
I, for one, object.
like
I think we need
that.
to comply with the Brown Act.
We all have objections at this time.
So I would like to hear that. So let me be clear of what I'm asking of our city attorney.
We heard you loud and clear.
no, I was
Councilmember
interrupted.
Moreno, your time is up at this time.
I would like to ask our city attorney to agendize closed session items with at least the topic of the matter when it's pending litigation. And that's not required by the Brown Act, but I'm asking us for more transparency to include just simply the topic when we're talking about pending litigation. That's what I'm asking.
I do have an
I'm
objection.
asking if there's no objection that the city attorney do that.
I do have an objection, and I'm going to ask my majority counsel, Councilman Mayor.
No. No vote on this. This is not an agendized item. I understand the request. We need to move on.
Thank you. I got it. Thank you, Councilmember Moreno. What you said in your declaration is speaking out from your declaration, giving it to the court, is absolutely embarrassing to the city. And it was a misinformation, what you have given. And you have violated a our closed session agenda item that was there and to discuss. And you have never got the authority from the council to be discussed with anybody outside the council, and you have violated that. And I want to thank you for December 9, 2019 comments, setting the record straight and validating our process, for sharing with our community that we followed California law. Thank you for giving that, and public know that. And public know that you have violated the closed session. Public know that you have given the misinformation in your declaration, and city stand firm on that, and our city attorney has given that in the declaration. You're absolutely what you have said in 2019 comments, setting the record straight and validating that process. With that said, I would like to also talk about that you in person yourself deals, Ducks deal, all negotiated in closed session, taken up on public Thanksgiving week. You have voted on that. You are one of the example that you are setting your record straight. Set your record straight what you did at the Thanksgiving on the Ducks deal.
I voted no on that project.
Absolutely, I do not want to hear that at this time. Your time is up, sir.
You can't lie, Mr. Mayor.
You know, I'm setting the record straight. You have voted on that, but you voted on a Thanksgiving weekend. So to set the record straight.